Good morning. Welcome to this week's Free Minute. It is Monday, April 14th, 2025. If this is your first one, it is an extremely short version of everything a nonprofit fundraiser needs to know about the world at large going into this week. So we'll cover three things this week. The first two are really centered around economic chaos, for lack of a better term. So as many of you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, we saw tariffs go into effect. We saw 2 weeks ago, meaning not the previous week, the one before that, the biggest two-day drop in S&P 500 since the Great Recession in 2008, worst week in an extremely long time. Last week, we saw the best week in 5 years. Now, it still didn't earn its way all the way back up to where it was the previous week. But as many of you know, Trump pulled back on a bunch of the tariffs and then kept them on China. There's a 90-day pause. Investors breathed a little bit of a sigh of relief, but really wanted to get into a wait-and-see mode. And so where are we now? Tariffs are still at a 10% level worldwide, significantly higher tariffs on China, except over the weekend, it was announced that things like smartphones are exempt. So Apple stock went back up. And then also over the weekend, China said it would retaliate by constraining the sales of rare earth materials, which is going to play a role in hurting production in the United States of a bunch of different devices, primarily electric vehicles. So what are we seeing? We're seeing a major trade war unfold among the world's two superpowers. There's almost this infantile debate right now between DC and Beijing, where each administration wants the other one to call them and doesn't want to be the first one to call. And so it's a little silly there. But investors are cautiously optimistic, at least compared to the despair of 10 days ago. And so we're seeing that. What does that mean? It means markets are back up a little bit. It makes donor advised funds and stock gifts a little bit more appealing. But net, one of the things to know is the S&P 500 is up 7% over the last 12 months. So you're still seeing all these appreciated assets. You should still be pushing on these gifts. We know from all the research that appreciated asset gifts are the number one driver of nonprofit growth in all of fundraising. Now, someone last week said, I'm in a conversation right now with a coworker. He says, don't send any email about this. I say, send it. One of the things to know is you cannot predict the markets, right? If you did, you would not be a nonprofit fundraiser. You would be a billionaire hedge fund manager, and you still couldn't do it, right? So keep pushing on all this. Don't stress about the day-to-day news fluctuations, et cetera. Second thing to know, consumer confidence as of Friday, which is before some of the tariff pauses, was at an all-time low, second lowest since 1952 in the University of Michigan's readings of consumer confidence. And so what does that mean? It means, look, investors jump at opportunity and you'll see bigger fluctuations in investment, but you won't see the same fluctuations in consumer confidence. So consumer confidence is slower to re-rise. What does that mean? It means you are likely to see a small decline among small dollar donors this year, which is a continuing ongoing trend based on tax reform and some other things as well. So continue to push on your major giving and your planned giving over your small dollar giving. Third thing, switching gears deeply, I wanted to say that I think I got something wrong 2 weeks ago, not factually, but I wasn't reading the correct thing. So a few weeks ago, we talked about a dramatic leap forward in AI among ChatGPT's image generation. And at the moment, one of the trends that took off was these Ghibli style images, which is a Japanese animation house, which then everybody wanted to make their sort of profile picture as this. Now, this week, we had an action figure meme take off, right? Now, what did we say a few weeks ago? We said, wow, this is an enormous leap forward in AI image generation, which means a lot of things, right? All this new availability in graphic design available to normal people. Now, what I missed when we talked about that is that at that moment, 1 million people were joining ChatGPT per hour because image generation is one of the most easily understandable things that AI can do. And it's so impressive that everyone says, oh, I want that. Now, one of my coworkers said, my mom was an AI skeptic. She saw this, she made it. Now she's a ChatGPT super user. So this week, there's a new trend around people turning themselves into sort of plastic box Barbie dolls or superheroes or things like that. Really fun, interesting meme. Now, why is the meme interesting for fundraising? What it means is it's the early step into, for a lot of people, to AI, and now beginning to get their heads around what AI can use. And so what you can do here is see rapid escalation in AI usage, starting with games and toys and silliness, but that will move into workplace deployments relatively soon. So this is a common trend in technology adoption. Is it starts with play, it starts with games, and then moves into B2B dynamics as well. So just another sign of acceleration of AI usage as well, on top of all the economic fluctuations. So those are your things you need to know. Hope you have a wonderful week. Spring is dawning in many places outside around the United States, and we hope you're having a great week, and we will talk to you soon.